What's going on, everybody? This is Living in Arizona Now, and today we're going to talk about solar flares. Many of you already know exactly what I'm talking about when I say solar flares, but if you don't know what I'm talking about, in July, the world is going into what is called solar maximum. So, a lot of people are talking about this. This is trending all over the internet right now. So, right now, we're entering into solar cycle 25 with an expected solar maximum in July 2025. Activity is increasing steadily and moderate strength, similar to cycle 24. So, the interesting thing about this is last year, several of you saw Aurora Borealis in Arizona in October, May, and April 2023. People in Arizona were able to see northern lights. And this is part of what happens when there's solar flares. Now, there's some interesting news and some interesting information coming out about solar flares. If you guys know, let us know in the comments what your guys are picking up on. But I'm going to share with you what's being talked about, especially in Asia right now. In Asia right now, people are not going to Japan. Right now, there is a prophet. She's the one who predicted the 2011 earthquake, the tsunami, the big one that happened in Japan. Her name, she wrote a book called The Future I Saw. Her name is Ryo Tatsuki. And she says that in July 2025, there's going to be a big one because they're comparing it, or they're kind of lining it up with the solar flares. We'll take it one step further. There's recently been a Japanese monk who made a prediction that a major earthquake in Japan potentially triggered by solar flares in July. He even said that if the big earthquake does not happen by September, he's going to step down for his post. Okay, so what we now know based on all the details that we have, right, is solar maximum is coming in July 2025. Whether anyone has a problem with that, there's nothing you can do. Solar flares are going to happen, right? If you don't know what a solar flare is, let me tell you what a solar flare is, and then you guys can dial it in and make the you guys can make the assessment on your own. But thank you to everyone who's crushing up the likes. Let us know where you're tuning in from this morning. Good morning to everyone out there. But let's talk about solar flares. So solar flares are an intense burst of radiation from the sun's surface caused by magnetic energy. They call it a solar mass ejection. Okay. So they can last from minutes to hours and are classified by X-ray brightness. Any of you guys follow Sadhguru? He's the yogi who gives advice on how to be, I guess, a yogi. But he said that all the yogis know that when there's solar flares, that chaos ensues around the world, such as wars and just weird things that don't normally happen. Things become like your nervous system, and you just might feel a little bit different. I'm not saying that's necessarily something that I believe in. I'm just learning and listening, but I do know that we're in solar maximum in July, which is going to be the height of the solar flares. So when they erupt, they send out electromagnetic radiation, like an X-ray or like a UV light, which can reach Earth in 8 minutes. As you guys know, that's quite far. So they're called coronal mass ejections, CMEs, big bubbles of solar plasma that arrive in 1 to 3 days and can cause geomagnetic storms. This is why you guys in Arizona saw something really crazy in 2023, 2024, okay? And those were the northern lights in Arizona, Aurora Borealis. Did any of you guys even see Aurora Borealis? If you did, let me know in the comments. But you could see, I mean, this is not stuff that I'm making up. People who live in Arizona know exactly what I'm talking about. They saw northern lights in Arizona, and it's rare. That doesn't happen. I mean, usually if you wanted to see northern lights, you would have to go all the way up to like Alaska, Canada, or Iceland or Norway. But I know some of you in this comment section actually saw. I know some of you guys actually saw those northern lights and know exactly what I'm talking about. Because there's going to be people out there who are going to say, "Oh, this is nothing. There's no such thing as solar flares." You'd be surprised. There's people who actually say that. Okay, there is solar flares. We're in a solar maximum. Okay, this is actually facts. You can look it up. Just type into Google, type into ChatGPT, whatever you use. Is the world entering into solar maximum in July 2025, and see what it says. This is not something that's like some hocus pocus thing. This is why people were talking about those volcanoes acting up. So they're talking about the big tsunami. Okay, so a tsunami, this is what they're saying about Japan. This is why China is canceling flights to Japan. This is why Japan's seeing lower or slower tourism right now, is because people are canceling flights. They think that I think it's called the Nakai. I think it's called the Nakai trough. They say that that's going to rupture. Even the Japanese government issued kind of like a little bit of a warning, like a heightened, elevated response, saying that, hey, if this erupts, it's in between Japan and Philippines. If that erupts, it will be big waves. And Japan's been hit with tsunamis many times. So, I mean, no one knows when an earthquake is going to happen. They still don't have the science to predict those, but it is interesting. And they're saying that when there's solar flares, when you're in solar maximum, things are heightened. So what's that mean for you out here in Arizona? Well, you know, we don't know. I mean, it's like I'm not going to sit here and say that the volcanoes are going to erupt. I mean, the chance of that happening is very small, so I'm not trying to scare anyone with that. But it could mean more storms, could mean anomaly storms, could mean something fun and cool like northern lights. We'll see. I mean, but some people are worried about radio blackouts. They say especially affecting aircraft, ships using high frequency radios, GPS and navigation systems can kind of wig out a little bit. Possible power grid disturbances. This is kind of rare, but it can happen with a severe CME, a coronal mass ejection. But I would say this is a chance we may see northern lights. I'm not saying it's going to happen, but that's going to be interesting if it does happen. Let's see if anyone out there has even seen the last ones. Sagus says, sounds like a little HARP activity to me. No, it's not. This is actually science. You can look it up. I know what you're saying. But that's science. What's going on, Ben, from Casagram? Where's everyone tuning in from? Caffeine in Phoenix, Pink Purple Night, Buckeye, Arizona is tuning in. Oatman in the house, Red Rock, Arizona. I love Red Rock, Arizona. Alabama in the house. Yeah, people said they saw him even in Alabama. Someone said Prescott, Sholo, Prescott. Feels like the sun is pointing directly towards Vail, Arizona. No longer an orange glow. 54 years on Earth, but bright white, instantly blazing heat. Yeah, that sun. I don't remember the sun being like bright white. I remember the sun being like a yellowish orange tint. But nowadays it seems like it's like a bright white, doesn't it? It's kind of crazy. Thanks to everyone who's smashing up the likes. If you guys get it to 50, we'll keep going a long time. We'll do another long one since it's Sunday. We can go hard in the paint, huh? Someone said Dutchnese calls earthquakes and teaches others his system. Yeah, we'll see about that. But anyway, the one the big prophecy that's out there, that Ryo Tatsuki, this lady, she said in October 1, 2021, she had a vision, a dream. Now, the reason people take her serious and have canceled their flights to Tokyo or to Japan in general is because in 2011, she wrote the book, The Future I Saw, and in there, she predicted the 2011 mega quake and the mega tsunami that hit northern Japan. I think tens of thousands of people died in that. So she also predicted the death of Princess Diana and Freddie Mercury. I mean, I don't know how she predicts Freddie Mercury's death, but I mean, that, either way, it's kind of interesting that she got those right. So people take her pretty serious. I mean, you can even look her up. The book is called The Future I Saw if you wanted to read it. But she published that in 1999 when she made the prediction about the 2011 earthquake. So this monk that's predicted all this stuff about the solar flares in July having a big effect on the earthquake and the Nakai trough, that monk has said he will step down if it doesn't happen. I don't know why he would put his whole monkhood on the line for some prediction. I mean, that never really works out. I mean, I would say like the odds of an earthquake happening are something you can't predict an earthquake. I could see why they would say, oh, because we have solar flares, we're reaching solar maximum in July 2025. That's going to create more tension on the earth. That like Sadhguru was saying, he said that the yogis know that during solar maximum, your nervous system is going to be more sensitive. There's going to be more wars. It's just a more tense environment, which we've definitely seen, especially here in June. I mean, June's been a crazy month. I don't know if you guys have been following the politics around the world, but it was just absolutely ridiculous, everything that's going on. Where's everyone tuning in from? I got some Greenville, Texas, Pocatello, Idaho, Rio Verde foothills. Yeah, thanks for letting us know where y'all are tuning in from. Someone said the sun is very hot in Pine, Arizona. That's crazy. I mean, Pine, Arizona is obviously high elevation, so you're going to feel the sun a little bit higher because you're closer to the sun, but I didn't know that it's like really feeling that bad. Someone said, wow. So there's definitely some interesting. Someone said sun simulator. What's the sun simulator? Give me some information on that. I've kind of heard about that. Are you guys talking about how they're trying to like make a fake sun? I don't know about that. I'm not going to even say that because I actually don't have any information to factually state that. But some people are talking about that. You guys can read the comments. Someone said aluminum fog aerial spraying makes the sun look. Well, I don't know about that. Yeah, I mean that's crazy, but I mean, it doesn't matter where you are in the world. If you look up at the sun looks white, like it's almost like silver. It's very interesting. I don't remember it looking like that. Do you guys? I mean, I seem to remember like the sun has always been like an orangish yellow hue. I mean, if you look out the window right now at the sun, what color is it? You know? Um, so someone said they're watching from Tucson, San Diego, and 11R. So these are some more information to know about the solar maximum that's hitting in solar cycle 25, expected to last from mid to late 2025. So it's going to be the next 6 months we're going to be in this solar maximum, essentially, is from what I understand. I don't know how many of you guys know about solar flares. I don't know if this is the first time some of you have ever heard of solar flares or CMEs. I'm imagining most of you are pretty smart, so this is not the first time you've heard of CMEs. So if you guys are privy to this information, share it in the chat so you guys can help update everybody, including me, because this is information that's kind of happening quickly. I mean, I watched this one video on TikTok. I mean, I know someone sent it to me on TikTok. It has 11 million views because they were talking about that Ryo Suzuki who predicted the 2011 Japanese earthquake. She's the one who's saying that, hey, July is going to be ready for some natural disasters around the world. I mean, I don't know. In America, I mean, there is some earthquake potential. Obviously, you have Cascadia up in Washington. You have Mount Hood, Mount Rainier. I'm not saying any of that's going to blow. I'm just saying that, you know, those are things that you would want to probably keep an eye on. Probably, I would imagine if solar flares have that kind of impact. But I would say the fun side of it would be the Northern Lights, Aurora Borealis. At the very least, if we could see Aurora Borealis one more time, that would be fun, right? But as far as like a grid down or like a radiation grid, I'm not trying to say that's going to happen. I'm not even trying to pass fear to anyone in in Arizona or the U.S. that these CMEs could have an effect. That's why I'm asking you guys if you know some extra information. That's part of the reason why we have this community, is because you guys help share information. And that's why I love talking to some of you guys, because you guys have a lot of information. I learned from a lot of you guys. Someone said UN, China, and NATO are doing it. Okay, well, I don't know. Caffeinated says AZ. Someone said I tested the UV after the spray in Buckeye. It was 24.4. Insane radiation is bouncing back down the aluminum sheet above. Wow, I don't know. Someone said they're watching from Tucson. I love your content, man. Thank you. Someone says Mount Hood and Mount Rainier are the worry ones. Yeah, I mean, that's Cascadia. But I mean, off the coast of the Pacific Northwest is the Cascadia, what do they call that? The Cascadia Trough or something like that. But it's out in the ocean. And they always say that if that ever ruptured, that would create a mega tsunami that would hit Oregon unlike anything you've ever seen. I mean, there's a couple areas, right, when you see this. But the things that cause the biggest tsunamis, from what history has told us, is landslides. It's not even earthquakes. So earthquakes, they shake, they rupture the ground, and then it creates the wave, right? It just creates a ripple effect. But the biggest tsunamis that we've seen in the world in history were landslides, when like chunks of land just crashed into the ocean. I know that when I was in Southeast Asia, they were talking about, I know a lot of people are worried about Krakatoa, but it's not called Krakatoa anymore, because if you guys know your history, I'm sure some of you do, but if you don't, it's okay. The loudest sound ever recorded on planet Earth happened when Krakatoa exploded. Krakatoa is more than just a water park in Florida, right? But no, when Krakatoa exploded, it was the loudest noise ever heard on planet Earth. They could hear it in Australia. They could hear it in all over. Like, I think they could hear it far, far, far away. Well, anyways, there's an island off Krakatoa called Anak Krakatoa. Anak means the child of Krakatoa. So the child of Krakatoa has all these people in Southeast Asia, especially around like Indonesia. They're like, hey, stay away from that area. So it's a big deal. I mean, it's a big deal. It is a big deal. I'm not even going to downplay it. If one of those things cracks, if one of those things blows, Whoa. Um, Someone said the mock is stopping. We'll have tornadoes in our bathrooms. I don't know what you're saying, Mike. There is a prophetic word that Mount Fuji will erupt and 8 million people in Tokyo will die. Who said that one? I didn't hear about that one. Besides the heat already, two people I know already had their house AC fail this weekend. No way, dude. That's the problem with I mean, if there was ever an incident that knocked out Palos Verdes nuclear power plant, in case you guys don't know, where most of you guys get all your power from, Phoenix in general. Well, I don't know about where you're living in Arizona, but Phoenix gets its power from Palos Verdes nuclear power plant. You guys know that? Okay, so if that thing ever failed or even like glitched or had some sort of issue in the summertime, that's not good. That's not good at all. I don't really know if Arizona has a backup supply of power, but you at your own house can have backup supply of power. Maybe having some power. Like I know people in Arizona who are so prepared for this kind of stuff. They have like five backup solar panels, and then they have a battery that they can charge the battery with. So they'll have like a Tesla battery, and they have five backup panels that they buy like on Amazon for $250 each. They're like little mini electricians, right? They just they connect all five, they put them out in the sun in the heat, and then they can charge their house. Now I don't know how legal that is. I mean, that's because Arizona's got some weird rules with like going solar. You got to plug into the grid. But I know people who in a bug out situation have like solar panels. I mean, there's people out there that use like Jackery. I don't know if you guys have used Jackery, but you could go on Amazon and you could type in battery power with solar kit. So you get something that can charge and something like that. I mean, is a generator. You could just get a regular generator, but what happens when you run out of fuel? Are you going to go down to the Shell station and get some fuel? But the only reason I would say more than anything is because one, you want to keep your food fresh and you want to keep your AC on probably above all else in the summertime because Arizona is so incredibly hot. I mean, just turn off the air con in your house for about, I don't know, 3 hours at 12 o'clock in the afternoon, and you tell me if your air con is important and tell me how important Palos Verdes nuclear power plant is, right? So someone said they found a 7,000-year-old new city-size islands in Japan. I heard about that. I also heard they had like pyramids down there. So they said like there's pyramids down in that trough, the Nakai Trough. Someone said get a basement, man. It's fun. Arizona doesn't have basements because of the water table. I mean, I don't know exactly why Arizona doesn't have basements, but what I was always told was can't really go too deep because you'll hit the water table. I mean, they know about this. If you're a miner in Arizona back in the day, they would always hit the water table. But I don't know exactly why they don't have basements in Arizona, but that was what I was told. Someone said Atlantis is under the Atlantic and Mu is under the Pacific. Yeah, Mu. When I was living in Hawaii, they were talking about Mu. That's crazy, right? Someone said, I'm familiar with local plants that are edible. That's my best prepping this far since I do not have a lot of money. Local plants. I mean, foraging the desert, that's not something that I don't think you can. I don't think so. I don't think that's going to be sustainable. You'd probably be better off like getting like some chicken noodle soup and maybe like a little burner on Amazon for $15 with you know what I'm saying? I wouldn't rely too much on trying to forage the desert in Arizona. Thanks, 52 people who smashed up the likes. If we get it up to 100 likes, I'll keep going. Someone said hit the water table, so no basement. That's what I've been told. I mean, if anyone else knows why there's no, because I mean, if you live in Arizona, who do you know who has a basement in Arizona? Why is there no basements in Arizona? Someone tell me. I mean, if you go to Massachusetts, they have them. So much of Arizona, especially southern regions, has expansive clay soils. Yeah, that too. Like, I don't know if you've ever tried to like plant a tree in your backyard. Like I remember when I had my house, I used to bring in like big citrus trees because you could get the small ones that you get at Home Depot, or you could get like a year-old citrus tree. And so you got to dig it deep. Well, if you dig it deep, you'll sit there. You got topsoil for about, I don't know, like an inch. No, topsoil for like a foot or two, about a foot. Typically, I was hitting clay. I was hitting hard clay after about a foot. And then, but I mean, if that's really the case, look how many pools people got, right? I mean, so you can make so many arguments, but definitely the caliche is worse. So the desert environment soil has this hard, like fossilified dirt. It's called caliche. So that's a big thing. But the water table isn't really the issue, it says. And in many parts of the U.S., basements help keep foundations below the frost line to prevent frost. Arizona mild winters and lack of frost means there's no need to dig deep. Okay. The ground can be very hot in Arizona, especially in shallow depths. A basement would be costly to cool and provide. Okay, I mean that's you could get into that. Excavating is tough. Rocky soils cost significantly. Well, we're learning here. Builders can create space more cheaply by building outward rather than downward. Yeah, because I mean, with Arizona, you don't have to like knock down like a tree. You just bull over a couple bushes, and next thing you know, you got your land's cleared. Really, it's that easy. But yeah, I don't know. Do any of you guys have a basement in your house? Seriously. Someone said, add to that the series of novas from nearby stars systems, and the electrical universe is starting to get juicy. Yeah, I mean, I don't know about what's going on in the stars with that. I just know that we're in solar maximum. And, there's going to be people out there who don't understand what I'm talking about. So, in case you're just tuning in, solar maximum is happening in July. It happens about every 11 to 12 years. And when we enter into solar maximum, that means there's going to be higher amounts of solar flares, CMEs, coronal mass ejections. And what it is the sun just kind of flares up a bit more. And people, prophets, et cetera, say during that time frame, the body's going to act a little bit different. Your nervous system's going to maybe be a little bit off. I don't know. I mean, this kind of stuff is just stuff that the people say that are, spiritual. But I'm just saying that from a scientific standpoint, you can look up solar flares, solar maximum 2025. You'll get tons of information. It's all there. I mean, if you want, I can give you more information on solar maximum because this is what we're talking about. So how long is solar maximum? So it's an 11-month cycle. So 11-year cycle where the sun is most active. During this time, the sun has the highest number of sunspots, which are dark, magnetically active areas on its surface. More sunspots means more solar flares, more coronal mass ejections, which are those CMEs. These can affect space, weather, and Earth's magnetic field. This is why those prophets are saying that Japan is going to, get a big one. So the sun goes through a cycle roughly 11 years called the solar cycle. It moves from the solar minimum, quite few sunspots, to solar maximum. So 11 years ago would have been 2014, right? I don't really remember anything too crazy happening in 2014. More solar flares and CMEs. This increases the risk of geomagnetic storms on Earth, more auroras, which is what we're talking about, the auroras. I don't know. Did any of you guys even see those Aurora Borealis? I still haven't seen any comments where someone said they saw the Aurora. This is a question to you guys. Did you see the last Aurora Borealis in Arizona? I mean, I know people seen it. I don't know how. I mean, unless no one in this chat is living in Arizona during the Northern Lights. Who saw nobody saw it. Okay, so no one saw the Aurora. No one saw Aurora Borealis in Arizona. My sister sent me pictures of hers. She was living up in New River and she saw them. How did no one see the Aurora Borealis in 2024 and 23? Oh well, it is what it is. Some people seen it, some people don't. I know that if you're living in the city, you won't see it. You'd have to be in like Prescott, Camp Verde, like outside of like North Phoenix, something like that. So TG says, I tried to. I'm in Goodyear and didn't see it. Peace Dove says, yes. Pinel, Purple Night. Okay, so we have one person in this chat who saw the Northern Lights last time in Arizona. So that's cool. I mean, yeah, even if you go to like Iceland, you're not going to see it if you're in Reykjavik. You have to go outside of Reykjavik to see the Aurora Borealis. Someone said, Judgment 19. So, Karina, did you see it in Cottonwood, the Aurora? 1968. What's going on in 1968? I'm in North Phoenix. I did not see anything that is really going on in 2025. What was happening in 1968? Someone said it would have to be a super strong EMP for us to see the lights in Arizona. Okay, well, I'm telling you, I know people seen the Aurora Borealis in 2024. I know people who saw it. I'm just surprised that no one in this chat did, and that's okay because um, it happens. I mean, it was all over Facebook for sure. Karina says yes, in 2024 she saw it in Cottonwood. Yeah, so I mean, you can even look it up on Google. When was the Northern Lights available to be seen in Arizona? I mean, as far as like solar phenomena, I know when I travel around the world, as you guys know, I've been in 90 countries. I travel around. Whenever I say I'm from Arizona, you know what the first thing people always say to me? Who wants to guess what the first thing people always say to me? I know you're going to think it's cowboys. You're going to think, oh, are you a cowboy? No, they never even get into that. They never even get into that. They only say one thing, and they say it more frequently than anything else. And I've heard this multiple times over. Does anyone want to guess? They said, have you seen fill in the blank? Someone do it. Let's see here. Someone said, my cousin was in AZ and saw the lights last year. I don't go out at night. Yeah, I mean, you got to go out at night. If they say if they say that they're going to have Aurora Borealis, you got to get outside and do it. Adrian said, lights over Phoenix. Yep, that's what it is. So what people ask me when I say I'm from Arizona, they said, have you ever seen aliens? Seriously. And Arizona has a reputation for aliens. We can make a video about this, by the way, because I don't know. It seems like a lot of people are new to Arizona in this chat, so we can make a video updating people about the aliens that were in Arizona, but or the sightings. I'm not saying that anyone's seen a gray or a Palladian or whatever those Nordic aliens are called. So aliens in Arizona. Watch this. Okay, I'll give you guys a little teaser to what that video would be about, because this is something that's it's quite famous. It's quite famous. Someone said the Phoenix Lights. Yeah, that was it. So that made international news. No one knows what those lights were, but that was a big thing. So there was also a big movie that was made, and it was a famous movie. This was, I think, okay, so this is what we have. We have the Phoenix Lights. Those happened in 1997, March 1997. I was living in Cave Creek, Arizona at the time. I think they happened over South Mountain in Phoenix. Then it's called the Travis Walton Incident. In 1975, there was a case where a forestry worker allegedly disappeared after encountering a UFO near Snowflake, Arizona. Okay. I think they made a movie about that, didn't they? They made some movie about it. Someone can correct me if I'm wrong, but this is what people all around the world always ask me. Have you seen an alien? They seem to think that Arizona is this hotspot for extraterrestrials. Someone said Fire in the Sky. That's the movie. That's I think why people think that, because Arizona has is that the Walton guy? That was in 1993. If you haven't already seen it, you guys can watch it this weekend. Let's get the information about Fire in the Sky. So yeah, it was about the logger Travis Walton. He supposedly disappeared. Fire in the Sky. I mean, have any of you guys ever seen a UFO or had some sort of encounter with ETs in Arizona? I cannot say that I have. I cannot say that I have. The only time I've seen suspicious stuff, and I'll tell you, the only time I ever seen what I would consider anything close to a UFO was when I was in the Navy. We were out there we were in the South Pacific off the coast of Guam. I was working night check. They call night check nights. So you work 6 p.m. to 6 a.m. We were up on the flight deck, and I remember we were by Guam. And out by Guam, it's real dark out there. I mean, it's one of the most isolated, land areas in the world. I mean, it's really the South Pacific. It's quite deep. And we seen something zigzagging through the sky and then disappear. And actually, I was on an aircraft carrier. So the squadron next to the squadron that I worked on the flight line, I think they were called VFA 41 Black Aces. I think they were the ones in 2005 who were off the coast of San Diego. You guys have seen this because supposedly Trump's going to declassify the alien files. Inside there, the reason people are all kind of like excited to read it, because in 2005, the USS Nimitz, I believe it was, which was the squadron next to us, the Black Aces, VFA 41, they were doing, their pilots were out flying around when they came, then they encountered something that didn't appear. The words they used didn't appear to be of human origin or earthly origin or something like that. I don't know. So someone says, best to go back into the 18-inch thick adobe walls. Oh, yeah. I mean, that's why the natives lived in the caves. I mean, if you guys, speaking of the natives, you guys ever go out to Petrified Forest? If you guys go out to Petrified Forest, they got some petroglyphs. And the petroglyphs, what are those? I mean, have you guys ever seen the petroglyphs? See, this is another video idea. What were the Native Americans drawing on those rocks? Were those humans? Or were they, Anunnaki or ETs? Who knows? I mean, the stories are endless. I mean, even in this chat, you see people talking about it. Someone said in Oatman they had some ETs, huh? Someone said it dropped and went. Petrified Forest is a cool place. Yeah, Petrified Forest is a really cool place. But did you see those petroglyphs out there? I think they call them petroglyphs or hieroglyphs. The interesting thing about those petroglyphs or the hieroglyphs in Arizona, I went to Wadi Rum in Jordan. They have very similar looking style of doing petroglyphs. So I guess ancient peoples back in the day were all over the world doing the same kind of style, drawing on rocks. I mean, yeah, I mean, it could be like a common knowledge that mankind inherently has as a natural, thing to draw on rocks. But I found it to be interesting how similar those looked to what the Native Americans in the desert southwest of Arizona had compared to what I think they're called the Nabateans or something like that in Wadi Rum, Jordan. Someone said, I found ancient Hebrew in Cochise County. No way. What? Are you kidding me? Someone says Apache County, we see all kinds of things in our skies. So you guys have you seen anything like, no BS? Like, I mean, I'm not going to sit here and say that I've seen anything in Arizona that resembled alien activity. But if you guys literally have, I mean, we might even have to do an interview if you guys have literally seen something like that. I would be genuinely curious. Someone said, who saw that big UFO that flew down Scottsdale Road? What? Is that a joke? Or are you being serious? Someone said, I have a video from 2 nights ago. See? Yeah, that's probably why Arizona got a reputation of being home to like extraterrestrials. Someone said there were many of them, a stampede of them, but one stopped to show itself to me. What? Okay. Someone said, let me read this millennials guy. He said, I saw something that I could initially hear. It took the form of a sign on the side of the road. It was contorted and floating with an ant-like face. Huh. I mean, were you under the influence of something? I'm not trying to be a smart aleck, but I'm asking if that could have played a factor. And then someone said, there were many of them, a stampede of them, but one stopped to show itself to me. One time anything like that has happened. Oh, the only time. Okay. Oh, that was in Mayer, Arizona. See, if there was a place that was going to get it, it would be in like Mayer, obviously Snowflake, right up there on the Mogollon Rim. I feel like at any given time that fire in the sky situation could happen. Leo, Leo, tell me what you got, man. You're talking about something. Tell me first what you have, what you saw, Leo, because you say I have a video from 2 nights ago. Okay, well, send it. I mean, I wish I could see it right now. I can't really see it on this, but man, send it to the channel's email. We'll take a look at it. Maybe we'll include it in the. I mean, it sounds like. Tell me what you got though. I'm kind of interested. Someone says Drome has a lot of activity. Yeah, that's mostly paranormal, but I don't know if it's alien ET. Someone said, I don't believe in aliens. Last days, the sun looks hazy white during flares. Yeah, isn't that weird how the sun looks white? I mean, every picture you ever see of the sun, whether it's a coloring book or some sort of imitation of the sun, it's always yellowish orange, isn't it? So why all of a sudden is the sun white? I mean, if you look up towards the sun right now, I can't right now, but you guys can because I'm right here at the computer. Someone says, I can email you my story better way too if you want to. Yeah, email it to me. Go to the channel and then find the email on the channel. Stephen Burns has a YouTube channel with space weather. He's a geophysicist. What did you find out? Perhaps you know them as angels. The sun looks white because all the silver iodine in there. Maybe. Google Street View will show you mostly bright white sun. Yeah, I mean, you can see that. Yeah. I mean, even if you look at these pictures, whenever I take a picture like of a sunset before the sun's going down, I'm always like, why does the sun look white? But then when it actually passes over the horizon, it turns orange. You know what I'm saying? But when it's way up in the sky, it does have that like bright whiteness to it. Someone says, please press the like to keep it going. Yeah, we could keep it going. I mean, we got 107 likes. If we get it to 200 likes, I'll keep going. So if you're watching the video and you haven't smashed up the likes, smash up the likes. Let us know where everyone's watching from. It's always fun. I mean, right now, the thing is, truth is, it's 8 in the morning in Arizona. I mean, so people are still waking up. So, I mean, if we keep going, people will wake up and they'll jump in and we'll have the conversation a little bit more. But someone said where they're watching from Michigan. Someone said, yeah, I saw a huge craft years ago, but figured they are black ops. Yeah, I mean, a lot of it could be military. Like U.S. military has a lot of technology, a lot of things that are special or like secret, you know, those things you have taken that into consideration. All right, so everyone's watching from Gilbert, Scottsdale, Goodyear, Yuma, Seattle, moving to Verado. Nice. Luke, LHC, Arizona. What is that? That's not Luke. I was going to say Luke Air Force Base, but that's not Luke Air Force Base. Litchfield Park. What's LHC? Sorry about that, American Law Dog. I'm trying to remember that acronym. Sun is about to explode. Well, we'll see. Jessica from Mesa. Welcome, Jessica. David from San Pedro. Salt Lake City, Utah in the house. Portland, Oregon. Carefree, Arizona. Northern Arizona, baby. Yuma. Wow. So, okay, this is good because it looks like a lot of people are Arizonis here. We got a lot of Arizona people. Northern Wisconsin, Prescott Valley. I mean, I like to see people from all over, but I like to know how many of people are Arizona or are not Arizona, right? Yuma, Phoenix, Glendale. Someone said the Large Hadron Collider. What is that? That's the one in, are you talking about the one in Geneva, Switzerland? I remember back, that's called CERN, right? I don't know much about that anymore. I remember back a few years ago, that was like maybe 20 years ago, like that was a big project, CERN. And they just stopped talking about it. It was kind of like along the lines of what's that movie that Ron Howard made? Da Vinci Code, right? Is that what you're talking about? Someone said LHC. That's the Large. Okay, got it. Large Hadron Collider. Prescott, Tempe, Illinois in the house. Nobody talks about Sesame. Sesame, what? Lots of new recent air traffic here at Fort Huachuca lately. Constant daily Chinook helicopters, Apache Blackhawks. Very odd. Yeah, I mean, right off the top, I would say that has something to do with a crackdown on the border. But, you know, that is interesting that there's a lot of Chinooks and Blackhawks. What is that? Fort Huachuca, yeah? Someone said Montana in the house, Ohio, East Central Minnesota. Someone said the U.S. is building a CERN. Where? St. John's. CERN is still in operation. Yeah, I mean, I heard about it. Someone said, have you smelled a weird metallic smell outside? Huh. Someone said, we have a collider in Arizona, nowhere as big as the one in Switzerland. I was just watching a show about, you guys know that big satellite they had in Arecibo, Puerto Rico. So you guys know about Gakona, Alaska. I'm almost certain most of you guys, or some of you know about the HAARP, High Atmospheric Auroral Research Program. That's up in Gakona. But they had one in Arecibo, Puerto Rico. And it was just, so they built this huge dish. And I think, what's the guy's name? He was a famous guy. He sent, so in 1970 something, they sent a signal from Arecibo, Puerto Rico, using this huge like dish out into the universe, 14 million miles away or something like that. and they were looking for life. Basically, they said, "Hey, can anyone hear me?" They were using like a big sonophone, but it was in Arecibo, Puerto Rico. Well, I think in like 2018, a massive hurricane somewhere around there, I don't know the exact year, Hurricane Maria, I think it was called, hit Puerto Rico, and it destroyed the Arecibo satellite. Does anyone know what I'm talking about? Someone said it destroyed a couple of years ago. It's under repairs. Are they repairing the one in Arecibo? That thing was, I mean, that's a huge, if you haven't seen that, that's an Arecibo, Puerto Rico satellite. I think it's called the Arecibo satellite. Let me see if I can get some information on it. If you guys haven't seen it, they call it the Arecibo telescope. It's a 1,000-foot spherical reflective radio telescope. I guess they have this big looking like thing up top, and it crashed down. It was created in 1963, July 2016 by the 500. I guess they have an even bigger one now in Guizhou, China. So Arecibo was primarily used for research in radio astronomy, atmospheric science. Who was the guy who sent some mega scientist guy? He sent something out into the heavens above, up into space. Yeah, are they going to repair it? I'm looking on here to see if they're going to repair it. 2020 damage, decommissioning plans, and collapse. So what are they decommissioning it? I guess the way they built it was it was already a sinkhole. So it was like a perfect situation to build it, but they also wanted to be closer to the equator. That's one of the reasons why NASA is at Cape Canaveral and Houston, because it's the southernmost point in the United States. That's why they launch from there, because they're closer to the equator, but they want to be as close to the equator as they can because it's faster to get into orbit from the equator, apparently. You flat earthers can try and explain that one to me, because that would only make sense on a round earth. Don't get the flat earthers started, because, oh my gosh, they come out of the woodworks. They come out of the woodworks like this, like, whoo, whoo, just whacking people. Any of you guys flat earthers? Someone said China is mining Bitcoin, Three Gorges Dam in Hubei province, China. Oh, I didn't know that. They're mining Bitcoin off that hydraulic power plant, huh? That's a heck of a power plant. I mean, that thing, I saw what they were doing with that power plant. It is incredible, the amount of water that comes out of that. China just had bad flooding too. Someone said Elon sent a Tesla into space. Yeah, I heard about that. Someone said, I don't think you can see the northern lights from Tempe. So if you guys are living in Phoenix, even if there is northern lights, you're not going to be able to see them, because the sun, just like the same reason you can't see the stars at night, but you go up to the Mogollon Rim, man, there's twinkle, twinkle, little star all up above the world so far. But you go down into Phoenix, you're not going to see hardly any of them down in Mesa or something. I saw a little bit out in Cave Creek, Carefree, but you have to go where it's darker. So, I don't know where you live in Phoenix. Like, I used to see them in Santan Valley, but the second I went into Mesa, I look up at the stars. I didn't really see too many stars. Someone said, I'm in Tempe. I could see golden hues at night with a photo. Yeah, with a photo, but could you see it with the naked eye? Aztec Viking says the earth is not flat. I didn't say it was. I'm just saying that there's people. I've had the flat earthers come onto this channel a few times. They're out there right now. I know there's flat earthers in this chat right now. I get the emails from them. They'll be like, hey, you should talk about this is one of the things. I have a buddy. He's a real smart guy. He might even be watching it right now. BMac, are you out there? He said, you should talk about flat earth. How come they don't fly from Auckland, New Zealand to Santiago, Chile? Why do they go Auckland to LA down to Santiago? Because it's like, why do they go this? Because according to the flat earth map, it makes perfect sense. But then guess what? I went on to Google Flights and I fact checked that TikTok video where they try to say that Sydney, Australia and Auckland don't fly to Santiago or Lima. I fact check it. Yes, they do. And you can even fact check it right now if you're a flat earther. Just go on to Google Flights right now. Or I'll go on to Google Flights. Watch this. Because this is one of the ones that the flat earthers love to say. So we'll go Auckland, New Zealand to Santiago, Chile. We'll do a one-stopper. They hate this one. This is the one that always gets the flat earthers when you show them. Let's see. I'm going on Google Flights right now. I got where how do I do direct? One stop, one stop, one stop. Oh. Let me see here. Getting a bunch of stops. Where's this one? This one goes Auckland to Sydney and then from Sydney to Santiago. Boom, right there. Case closed. 12-hour flight. Sydney to Santiago. It doesn't go from Auckland. They fly from Auckland to Sydney and then back over. Boom, right there. Case closed. Oh, Carl Sagan. Yes, it was. Temple Dancer. Thank you so much. So Carl Sagan, what year was it that he sent the signal from the Arecibo satellite out into the heavens? Toasted Tarantula said, when are you camping in Organ Pipe? You can see the lights of Phoenix area and Tucson reflecting into the atmosphere of the sky. That's got to be crazy. Organ Pipe is beautiful at night. You wouldn't want to be out there this time of year, but go out there in like April or September. Beautiful place to be. My goodness. Hiking around Organ Pipe. Organ Pipe's unique because it's the only place on Earth that I know of that has the Organ Pipe cactus. Lisa says they did. Yes, he's a really nice guy. Okay, so someone says cities have too much light pollution as well up north if it's too cloudy in Washington Bellevue. Yeah, I mean the places where I don't know where the northern lights were the most visible. I want to say it was like Michigan, but I could have sworn like some places down there was some. I mean, if I go online, I say northern lights visible from USA in 2014 or 2024. Where? Let's see what they say. Alaska, Maine, Minnesota, and Michigan got like legit northern lights. Southern areas during strong solar storms like Florida, California, Texas, Kansas also reported sightings during the strong geomagnetic storms. Yeah, but I know people in Arizona who definitely sent me pictures, showed me pictures of the Northern Lights in Arizona. Northern Lights in Arizona 2024. Oh yeah, there's even videos right here. You can look it up. This is not some thing like, people always want to come on there like, BS, I never saw Northern Lights in Arizona. Well, that's because you live in the city. But you can look it up. It's right there on Google. It's right there. They got pictures and everything available. Beautiful purple, green, the cat with the saguaro cactus all over. But it was in the, you got to be outside the city. So with the solar CME, the solar maximum coming in July 2025, August, it's supposed to go on until like late 2025, the CME, the coronal mass ejections, where they get these flares. We don't know when it happens. I mean, no one knows how powerful the sun is going to be because, but they just know that the sun goes through a cycle every 11 years where it flares up. Those are the solar flares. I mean, this is something I remember that was a big deal back during like not Y2K. What was the Mayan calendar? 2011. Everyone was talking about solar flares back then. I guess there was one solar flare in Russia. It knocked out the whole. I'll have to look it up right now. So this is the only time that there's ever been like a modern case where a solar flare knocked out a city. So solar flare, Russia. Yeah, here we go. All right, so I'm going to give you guys some information. So, just recently they detected one. I don't know. I just clicked on this. They said scientists detect 5 powerful M-class solar flares. 10 minutes long solar flare classified as M47 was recorded X-ray sunspot 3932, Moscow, Russia. M-class solar flares. On December 24th at 3:19 a.m. Moscow time, a 10-minute long solar flare classified as M4.7 was recorded in X-rays in sunspot group. Solar flares are divided into 5 categories. X-ray strength, the smallest one, are A class, followed by B, C, M, and X. Okay, so are they going to tell us? All right, well, I'm pretty sure the worst solar flare that ever happened where it took out like a power plant was in Siberia. Okay, so I think this is it. I think I found it. Someone must know. I'm sure there's people in here who know, but solar flares bathe swaths of Siberia in scarlet northern lights. Wait, solar flare takes out power grid. So here we go. What is this? Yeah, so this is what everyone's always kind of worried about is the potential of a widespread blackout. I guess in severe cases, these disruptions can cause widespread and long-lasting power outages, as seen in 1989 Quebec blackout, which was caused by a geomagnetic storm by a solar flare from the sun. That happened in 1989 in Quebec. I mean, I don't think Arizona's ever been affected by a blackout from a CME. That would be terrible, though, because you guys, most of us couldn't survive a couple days without aircon in Arizona. I mean, there's going to be people who can't survive without the aircon. Okay, so then there was the Carrington event. So this is one that came up. The Carrington event was the most intense geomagnetic storm ever recorded in history, peaking on 1-2 September 1859 during solar cycle 10. Well, I think we're in solar cycle 25, guys, by the way. It created strong auroral displays that were reported globally and caused sparking and even fires in telegraph stations. The geomagnetic storm was likely the result of coronal mass ejection, CMA, from the sun colliding with Earth's magnetosphere. The geomagnetic storm was associated with a very bright solar flare on 1859. Where did it happen? What did it do? Let me see. I mean, where they're just saying just massive auroras. Massive auroras. Whoa. They said telegraph systems all over Europe and North America failed. Everything went into electrical shock, including the operators. So people who were sitting there typing on their thing, they were shocked by the electricity on their typewriter. Wow. I mean, that makes me look at my computer right now and be like, is this metal? Someone says coronal mass ejections don't hit specific places on Earth. They hit the entire globe. It's just like some power plants have weaker infrastructure, so they are more likely to burst. Yeah, I mean, I'd imagine a lot of modern power stations, power plants have some sort of protection against a CME event. I would assume that. I would assume it. Someone said, fear is the killer. Yeah. I mean, I don't think anyone has to live in fear, but it's just crazy to, it's like you don't have to live, if you live in the Caribbean, you don't have to live in fear of a hurricane, but you have to know that, hurricanes come ever so often and it could hit, Puerto Rico or U.S. Virgin Islands. I mean, it doesn't happen every time, but, they happen. Solar flares, they happen. Coronal mass ejections, they happen. Doesn't mean you have to stop your whole life because of it. I mean, it's like car accidents happen. Doesn't mean you're going to stop driving your car, people. Someone said, I believe we are not the only living beings in our galaxy, maybe in our solar system. Yeah, I mean, we'll have to see what Carl Sagan came up with. They said that transmission they sent from Arecibo, Puerto Rico, out into the atmosphere or out into space, they said they could have heard it and we're just waiting to hear back. They said, we might still be we could get a call at any time. Just we're on standby. Someone said Sagan helped Frank Drake at Arecibo. Sagan was more responsible for golden discs sent on a satellite in 1972, which had basic information about Earth and humans meant for extraterrestrials. Okay, so that was another. I mean, they were looking. Someone said people are glued to the screen and don't go out anymore, so they may be missing out on celestial events. I would say if if the news came out and they said, "Hey, we might have Northern Lights, Aurora Borealis this evening," I would say that would be a good reason to get out. I would say if you're in Phoenix, you could go up towards like Tonto Hills, out there by Desert Mountain, out towards Bartlett Lake. That's where I would try to go. That's where I would try to go if you wanted to see Aurora in Phoenix without having to drive too far. Or you could scoot up I-17 up past Black Canyon City, but there's not many lights out past Bartlett, you know? Fermi said no aliens ever showed due to the vast distances involved. Barbara says, I'm moving to Arizona and taking my Jackery 1100 watt with 2 solar panels. I had one of those. Those are great. I think, how much did you get it for? I got mine for like 1100 or something like that. I sold it though. But those are a great idea. Do you have one of the Jackeries where the solar panels fold, or do you have one like it was like a little, it almost turned into like a little briefcase. You'd carry the solar panel and you could take it camping and stuff. So it doubles as like a survival piece of equipment, but it also works when you're out camping. Cool, right? So it said, just somewhat be prepared. Don't have to be in fear. Yeah, I mean, it's how life is. Have a contingency plan. It's not even, I mean, these natural disasters happen. I mean, the likelihood that Arizona gets hit with a monsoon, it's going to happen. I mean, it's going to happen. It's like being scared that the summer's coming. Oh my gosh, it's going to be 110, might be 122. We might break the new record and be 124 degrees this year. That's hot. That's hot. That's hot. Aztec says, people need to educate themselves, though. Yeah, they do. They do. I think a lot of people are taking the time to get educated. They're paying attention. People are paying attention more so than ever, especially after this thing that happened in 2020. People are kind of like, okay, anything's possible, you know? Escalations of any sort of war or anything like that. We've seen it. People have seen it. Someone said, smash up the likes. Yeah, smash up the likes. If we get it over to 200 likes, we'll keep on going. Because people are waking up. It's 8:30 in the morning. So, I mean, people are still waking up. Someone said, I believe Egypt was once a superpower. They were here thousands of years ago. Oh, Sadie. Yeah, that's what they say. They say they found Egyptian artifacts in the Grand Canyon. We'll see about that. We will see about that. Anyways, where are you guys all tuning in from here? We'll keep going if we can get some more engagement. Barbara says, yeah, I have folding solars. It was around 1100. Noah already put out an alert for 4th of July weekend for monsoon conditions. Yeah. I would say if you guys really want the best information for any of that, just follow NOAA. I mean, those government websites you can get more from the government than anyone, really. I mean, they'll tell you all the truth. They'll tell you, they'll give you the information. Like if you wanted the information for solar flares, here, I'll give you the official government website for solar flares website, US Gov. I think it's NOAA. Oh, so NASA has the solar flares, solar storms and flares. They have the official website. It says what is a solar storm? A solar storm is a sudden explosion of particles, energy, magnetic fields, and material blasted into the solar system by the sun. How do solar storms affect us? When directed toward Earth, a solar storm can create major disturbances in Earth's magnetic field called a geomagnetic storm that can produce effects such as radio blackouts, power outages, beautiful auroras, which is that's what we're looking for. Beautiful auroras. We don't want any power outages or blackouts, right? They do not cause direct harm to anyone on Earth. However, as our planet's magnetic field and atmosphere protect us from the worst of these storms. Okay. So, I mean, you can get all that information straight from the horse's mouth right there on NASA's website if you're really wanting to dial it in, if you're really worried, you know. There's also the Environmental Protection Agency, the EPA.gov. You can check those out. They have cosmic radiation is emitted during solar events, including sunspots, solar flares, coronal mass ejections, proton storms. The Earth's atmosphere works like a shield, keeping out large amounts of radiation. Cosmic radiation is of particular concern to astronauts and equipment in space. So I guess the International Space Station might be a little bit worried about that. Solar flares, yeah, you can look it up. It's right there. It's all there on the. So check out NASA or EPA if you want to know more about them. Anyways, guys, I'm going to get going. Thanks for watching. See you guys on the next one. We'll make some more videos. Enjoy your Sunday. And we'll see what ends up happening with Aurora Borealis here in 2025, July. Fingers crossed. I doubt we'll get it.